So what is the main reason that girls drop out of physical activity in sport when they are hitting that early teen years? Most people will say it's because they get their period or they're feeling socially inadequate or awkward. But I'm going to take it back a step and tell you it starts a lot earlier than that early teen set. When we think about puberty and the onset of puberty, we see it really happens in girls around the time of 8 to 9 years old. And what's happening when we're having an exposure of our sex hormones, estrogen, not quite a lot of progesterone yet, is we're having changes in all the biomechanics. So what happens, and we see this on the playground, we see girls go from being able to swing on the monkey bars to not able to pull themselves up. It's because their center of gravity is now changed from being up in the chest area to down in the hip area. Not only that, we have a widening of our hip angle, which changes that angle from the knee to the hip, which makes girls feel very ungangly when they're running. They don't know how to land, how to jump. They are slowing down because the velocity of that angle is less than when it was a straighter angle. We also see a widening of the shoulders to match what's happening with our hips. So now throwing mechanics are off. So if we look at how are we going to kind of set our girls up to being more successful and more confident in physical activity and sport, as well as having a body confidence to have that body positivity, it starts with reteaching the basic mechanics of running, of jumping, of throwing, of pulling, of pushing. So pretty much all of our basic ideas of sport. So how do we start that? We're not going to throw our girls into a gym situation and tell them to start lifting, because we have to think about how are we going to maximize those angles. So it starts basically with that functional movement, where we might be using a TRX to show a girl how to properly align her knee and her ankle to get into a squat. We might start with low box jumps, so we can teach her how to land properly, to manage the load so that we can preserve her ankles and her knees. We think about ACL injuries that happen in a lot of young teenage girl football or soccer players. It has to do with the angle and the torque of the knee, but if we're looking at how we are building up the posterior chain with these biomechanical changes, we actually reduce the risk of the load in the knee. So when we talk about building that healthy foundation, we're not talking just about all of the changes that are happening here in puberty, but we want to set a girl and a girl's body up to be successful for whatever sport and physical activity endeavor she wants to pursue. So if we start early, teaching those fundamental movements, just retraining the muscles of how to do these proper fundamental movements through body weight first, and then we start to add load when that mobility is there, when that pattern is there, then we're setting her up for life. If we're encouraging proper movement, proper mobility, proper technique, we're also encouraging better body confidence, because now she's not going to feel ungangly when she's running and have low self-confidence when she's actually moving. We're going to give her the tools to be able to understand her body, to understand how to move her body, which then feeds forward into body positivity and body confidence. So when we talk about girls dropping out of sport, we don't put it on the period. We don't put it on the menstrual cycle. We have to bring it forward and understand how she's feeling as she suddenly transfers from being a young girl into being a teen, and all these biomechanical changes that affect the way that she is moving. And then, of course, we get our period. So if we bring our girls back to that fundamentals and give her the foundation that she needs to be strong through her natural movements, we see a great increase in confidence, which keeps her in sport, keeps her in physical activity, and sets her up for life. Because the information around puberty and the development of a girl from 8 to about 18 is a rare commodity these days, we're going to be putting out scientifically based resources and information. So stay tuned for tips of how to train and how to modify what you're doing with your girls, either on an individual basis or as a coach, as a parent, to really improve their movement, their mechanics, and their love for physical activity and sport.